Good morning, Mo. It's good to see you being able to open your mouth.
Yeah, I got it unwired it's been about 2 weeks now, so it's definitely nice.
Was it really stiff when you first got it?
Yeah, when I first got it unwired, like I couldn't even get a toothbrush in there, like barely even move it. I would say probably the last 4 days I've been able to open it enough where I could eat somewhat normal. Finally been able to eat like I could eat some chicken finally, but it's got to be kind of soft. But like it's a lot better than it was, that's for sure. I could deal with it. I just can't open it very wide yet, and still got some process to go through with it. So
so going back, I mean, you've probably told this story a million times, but like, do you remember the crash?
No, actually I don't.
You whacked your head pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't think a lot of people don't really realize how hard I hit my head. I could remember the whole day pretty good, to sitting on the line for the main event, and then that's it. And then I was home 2.5 weeks later. So I don't remember being in the hospital. I don't remember having my surgeries. I don't remember any of that. So I don't know. I mean, in one side it's almost a good thing, I think, that I don't remember any of that, because my wife said it was pretty hard for me. So it's a good thing, I guess, for mentally wise that I don't remember that. But still kind of going through some processes from like post-concussive syndrome and stuff like that. So just dealing with that, and have made a lot of progress and doing really, really good. I'd say my first 6 weeks were pretty rough for me. And
first eight weeks, because you don't remember the first 2, right?
Yeah, well that's what's like, including those first 2 that I don't remember, and then like the next 4 were pretty rough for me. And I'm pretty much good now. Like they didn't let me drive. I couldn't even drive for like 6 weeks. They wouldn't let me drive or do anything. So I just got released to start driving about 3 weeks ago, and been able to get out at the track a little bit, and been helping with my teammates a little bit, and kind of trying to stay involved the best I can with my team and help them. And that's been pretty cool, just working with riders, and it's something I've never really done. So it's been pretty cool to do that kind of stuff, a different kind of side for me. And just want to do the best I can to try to help my team do the best they can, because I'm still a part of it, and I want to show that I still want to be there. So
is it hard watching Bob Canary riding your bike?
Nah, I mean, Bob's a good dude. I've been going to the track and helping him, and it's nice to see somebody that appreciates getting that ride, and that I'm really happy about that someone got it that really appreciates it and gives it 110% every time he's on the track, and doesn't just like do it to do it, you know. That guy gives it everything, and I'm really excited to see someone like that get that spot.
Yeah, he's a funny kid, man. I met him when he was on mini bikes. He's got a lot of personality. Yeah,
he's cool. He's definitely a fun dude to be with at the track, and keeps it entertaining, so it's cool.
Nice. So, you talked about the post-concussive stuff. Did you get to do the baseline test with Doc Bodner before?
No, I actually, I was gonna do it that Saturday morning of LA, and I got sidetracked doing a lot of stuff because it was delayed schedule. So we ended up doing like autograph signings before and like all this stuff. So I actually got sidetracked and ended up not doing it. So it's kind of a bummer. I mean, it would have been nice to have that. But my wife actually went and got me an iPad I think about 3 weeks after my injury, and they have some pretty cool app on there. Actually, a couple different apps that's kind of the same thing. And so I've been doing like a lot of tests on there, and it's kind of the similar stuff to that. So I've been able to track my progress with that stuff and do all that. So it's been pretty cool.
It's not that brain age game, is it?
There's one that's called I think it's Lumosity or something, and then there's a different one too. So there's 2 different ones that I do, and it keeps track of everything that I do. So it's pretty cool to see my progress from where I started to where I'm at now. So
you could see a marked progress then?
Yeah.
Wow, that's gnarly. So dude, I have to ask, what was it like having your jaw wired shut? I mean, I just, like when I had a cast from my hand to my armpit, and I got claustrophobic at that.
Yeah, I'm actually really claustrophobic. Like I had an MRI done yesterday, and I do really bad in those. So I actually have to take like Valium before I go on them because I'm so claustrophobic. And so for me, the jaw, I guess I was pretty bad at first when I wasn't really there for the first couple weeks when I was kind of off in my own world. I guess I actually tried unwiring it in the hospital. Like,
no way.
Yeah, like I guess I was really, really bad. But I would say I got pretty used to it. And I think having a cast on your arm is, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just different. It's so much different because like you can still get around and shower and do everything that you want to do. It's just that everything you got to eat's got to be blended up like water. And you don't really, like, I got to the point where I wasn't eating to eat for flavor. I was eating just to keep my stomach from hurting. And I mean, it was definitely hard, and it was like some days was harder than others. But I mean, my wife did a great job and tried the best she could to kind of mix up foods for me and keep it, you know, different. And the hardest challenge for me was keeping weight on. I ended up losing about 18 pounds. Wow. So that was my hardest challenge for me through this whole thing, was doing that, because with losing all that weight, it kind of slows down healing process and just not getting the nutrition my body needs and stuff. So that was the hardest challenge for us, is trying to keep that side of it up. So
so what kind of stuff were you drinking? Like I heard Shane sent you a bunch of muscle milk.
Yeah, Shane from Muscle Milk sent me tons of stuff, which was a huge lifesaver. I like lived on that stuff. And in the morning I was blending, like I would cook oatmeal and blend it up and make it really, really thin. And then for what lunch was like a fruit smoothie with muscle milk in it, or and then dinner was usually blended up soup, or my wife would blend up like sweet potatoes really thin, or like asparagus, that kind of stuff. But I would drink probably, I bet 4 to 5 muscle milks alone a day. So that was a huge lifesaver for me, was him sending me that stuff. I really appreciated it. So
I gotta ask, I saw, I think it was on Instagram, did you really blend up a burrito?
No, I was towards the end of my job being Morais, and I was so over the food that I was eating. Like, there was like 4 things that I was eating, and I was just so over it. I just wanted something different. And so we went out, and I'm like, you gotta go get me Chipotle. She's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, just go get it. And so I got Chipotle, and we brought it home. I got a bowl, and we put it in the blender, and we put some chicken broth in it and blended it up. And it was nice to have a change, but it definitely was not as good as it is normal. But I only did that once, so I just I was seriously so over what I was eating, and I just needed something different. I didn't really care what it was.
So when your jaw's wired shut and you're drinking a straw like that, well, I guess at first, did everything in your face hurt? Like, was it hard to suck through your teeth and stuff?
Well, for me, I couldn't drink through a straw because I damaged my nerve. And so I still can't feel my lips and my chin, so it was hard for me to hold a straw. So I just had to I had like a square bowl, and so I'd kind of hold it to the corner and kind of like drink it, you know. And I tried drinking out of straws, and with the sucking like that, like sucking my cheeks really tight, would push against my wires, and it would cut my mouth really bad. So that's why everything had to be so thin, so I could just kind of
pour it in.
Yeah, just kind of pour it and drink it through my, drink it.
You should have got like a ratio right.
So that was I just had to be careful. Like, everything had to be really thin. If it was too thick and I sucked hard, my mouth would get cut. So
So how does it work? Do you have the wires in still, or?
Yeah, I still have like these bars. That are holding my teeth and some spots that were broken in my mouth together. And I actually go in this Friday for just like I don't know if you really call it surgery, but I'll be put to sleep and I get all this stuff taken out. So I'm really excited about that. The only problem, I'm kind of having some issues with a couple teeth where the brake was. They're actually pushing up a little bit. So
your bite's not normal?
Well, no, my bite's pretty good because they're up front.
Oh, okay.
So my bite's actually really good considering for how bad my jaw was. So everything there's pretty solid. I have to go get some tests done on them to like see if they're still alive and stuff. So I guess like the first step would be root canal on a couple to try to save them. And if that doesn't save them, and then I would have them pulled and then have fake ones. So I still got like a few things that I gotta go through with this, but we're I definitely passed the rough side of it.
Yeah. So you broke your jaw in a couple places, right? I saw the X-ray.
Yeah. I actually split it really bad, and it came through the skin in the front right here.
Oh, no.
And then I actually compounded it in the inside of my mouth also. So that's where all the blood was coming from at first on the track, like, because a lot of people didn't know where it was coming from, and that was one of the main concerns for me. I guess when I was out there was I was bleeding really bad, and it was from compounding it inside my mouth. So yeah, it was. So I have a plate that goes from about right here to over here, and the doctor was able to do it all from the inside. So I was really pumped on that. I don't have like a big cut across my face. So it was actually in, I think he said 4 pieces. So, and then I broke my socket up here. That's why it was like popped out. And but everything's really good. The doctor I came to, Ryman hooked me up with, his name's Dr. Pulsifer right here in Marietta, and did an awesome job, and the guy's awesome, and my jaw's like lined up really good, my bite's good and everything. So I got pretty lucky for how bad it was that everything came together as good as it does. So
that's awesome. So at first you thought you hurt your neck as well, right?
Yeah, well actually what happened was my C1 and C2 were displaced a little bit, only like 4 millimeters they said, and I wore, so up there I had waited up there, and then my wife decided to bring me home because it was just kind of, it wasn't a very good hospital, I guess. It was, I was stable enough to come home, so she signed the papers and got me out of there and brought me home, and brought me to doctors down here, and Ryman and Alexander hooked me up with some doctors down here that they know, and getting me into the best places that they know of around here. So went to the neck doctor, and because up at the hospital they were wanting to put a halo on me because I was displaced like 4 millimeters, and it was like 2 more millimeters was like the verge of like for sure. And so I had the C-collar on for 2 weeks, and I went to that doctor here, and everything was actually lining back up really good, they said. So I was good. Yeah, so I was good to go. So he was like, you don't need it, just, you know, I just had to kind of be careful, I guess. I don't, like, for me, I don't remember going to that visit at all. So I got really lucky there, and then my C6, 7, and my T1, I fractured the spinous processors off on the back.
The little wings. Yeah,
so that was what I did with those. So it was definitely, I got lucky with everything, and just dealing with it the best I can, making progress right now. It's still kind of a long ways to go before I'm even released to start training or really doing anything. So just trying to do everything I can right now to stay busy.
Have you watched, when I saw you, I think I saw you at LA or San Diego or Anaheim too? I forgot where I saw you at.
I went to I went to Anaheim too, which I probably shouldn't have, because that's like kind of right when I was kind of clearing up, and I guess a lot of people said I was really out of it there. So I went there, and then I actually went to San Diego, and that's when I remember talking to you with San Diego, and I was pretty good by then. It was nice to, for me it was just, I wanted to get out of the house so bad and just see familiar faces. I was so tired of being in the house, and I don't know, I just wanted to get out and do something.
So at that point you hadn't watched it yet. Have you still not watched it?
No, I've watched it. Yeah, I've seen a few different angles and views of it, so.
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah, definitely really gnarly. It was a lot, I I guess, I don't know how to, like, gnarlier than I kind of, well, I knew it was bad, but for on Trey's side, I didn't realize how bad it was for him.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful that he's as good as he is, and I would feel really bad if he was worse.
Yeah.
It was definitely pretty, like I said, I'm actually really glad I don't remember that, cause,
yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely something that I would say changes your mind thought a little bit to go through all this.
Yeah.
And I'm just really thankful to have my family that I have, and my little son, who's a little over 6 months now, has been keeping me pretty busy. So
yeah.
He's kind of been a blessing in disguise for me right now. I mean, he's been keeping me entertained because I can't really do much. So it's been nice to be home with him.
Yeah.
And see him grow and learn new stuff and
change. You guys
change.
are both making progress together.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like he's definitely been like the light at the end of the tunnel for me right now. So
yeah, for sure. Kids can definitely turn a bad day good.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just so fun. Like I can't do anything really right now, so I just hang out with him and I just have a blast all day with him. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. How old is Crew now?
Crew is he's like 6 months and 2 weeks or something. So he's getting to that point where he's like starting to get a personality, and like you can get him to laugh really easy and like play on the ground with him. And he's not crawling yet, but he's pretty close. He's a roller. So like he just rolls everywhere. Like it's hard to keep track of him right now. He rolls everywhere, so it's pretty funny. It's cool though.
How did you guys choose that name?
Hannah actually had a long list of names, and we just kind of went through them, and it was between Crew or Madden for the final 2 names, and we hadn't decided. It was like we were at the hospital, and they're like, okay, you guys get to go home, and you gotta like sign the birth certificate and figure out the name, you know. And so we just were like, so we just went, like, we just felt like Crew was the right name. So it was like last minute decision between those 2, and looking back, thinking that we almost could have named him Madden is like totally weird. Like it doesn't fit him at all. So it was definitely where we last minute were like, yeah, we're going with that name.
Yeah. Did you guys know someone else with that name, or did you guys make it up?
My wife actually did all the names. I didn't really have much to do with it. I mean, she just made a long list and was like, pick the ones you like.
Yeah.
I think.
It's spelled with a K?
Yeah, it's K-R-U-E.
I think she had a boggle game and was just rolling money.
Dude, I don't know, but she did a good job. I love the name, and I'm really pumped too. I had to fight for it, but he's got my middle name, so.
Oh, sick. Nice. So, man, so for the people that don't know, Hannah is Andrew Short's sister, and she's also a nurse. I mean, how awesome was that to have your wife be a nurse in this time when you really needed some care?
Yeah, she's been able to help me a lot. She was actually on maternity leave because our son, so it was kind of like she was supposed to go back to work the following week after I got hurt. So
oh, man.
It was kind of a bad situation for us, and with not having really any family down here, because her parents live in Colorado and stuff, so, and my parents are up north or on the road, so we were kind of stuck in a situation that was a little rough. So she actually, because I wasn't in the situation to be home taking care of Crew by myself, so she actually left her job for now to stay home and take care of both of us. So everything's pretty good now, so hopefully here, once I get a little more solid, she could go back to work, and then I could take care of him on my own and go from there. I mean, still got a while until I think I'll be, I don't really know. I don't have any answers as far as when I'll be back. Even when I'll be able to start training or when I'll be back on the bike. I've had a lot of people asking me when I think I'll be back, and I don't have any answers for any of that yet. So hopefully get that stuff figured out here pretty soon. So I mean, I can't wait to get kind of going again and get back to training and get back on the bike. I just don't know when that is. It's hard not having a goal set for myself because I don't have an answer. So but I will definitely be back out there.
Yeah. Was there a point when you didn't want to come back? Or I mean, sometimes you know, serious injuries are like that.
Yeah, I think Hannah said like at the beginning when I was still kind of having a lot of issues with my head, I was kind of undecisive.
Yeah.
But now I'm pretty solid, and I definitely know that I want to get back out there and get on the bike and go through everything and see where I'm at and see if I could still be competitive. I mean, this is what I love to do, and my 450 year got cut really short. I didn't get to do what I wanted to do, and I think I was just starting to kind of get in the groove. Everyone says like my heat race in LA was really, really good. I rode awesome, and so I'd like to go out there and kind of do what I know I can do still. So, but I mean, there's a lot of pieces in the puzzle that got to be put together before that happens, and we'll see. So
I felt really bad when you got hurt because we were talking in Phoenix. You know, I was interviewing you for Pit Pass, and you're like, yeah, my goal this year is make through the whole season with no injuries. And then
that has been my goal my whole career, is to make a full Supercross. Well, I've made full Supercross seasons, well, lights class anyways, and then a full outdoor season. That's been my goal, to do a whole year of racing, and for some reason I have not been able to complete that, so it's been pretty frustrating for me. I've been very thankful that my career has been as long as it has, considering that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that have had kind of the same challenge I've had as far as staying healthy, and maybe their careers didn't last as long. So I've been very thankful to get a ride every year and go out there and do what I love to do, with how many times I've been injured and never putting in a full year. So I've been very thankful for my career that I've had, and hopefully continue it for a few more years.
How are things going with the, I always get mixed up, Star Valley Rockstar Yamaha team?
Everything's going good with the team. I've been kind of, like I said, I've been going to the track and helping with the riders that want my help, and to kind of do the best I can with everything. And I've went down to the shop and hung out and kind of given some input that I think can help. And Bobby and Chad have been really, really supportive to me through this whole thing, and I really thank them a lot for that. And so it's been really cool for them to accept me as still part of the team, but like from a different angle. So it's been pretty cool. So I'm hoping once I kind of get my mouth fixed up a little bit more and can eat better and stuff, that my plan is to hopefully go to a few races for the team, and be there for the riders and kind of spot some stuff and try to help out the best that I can with them while I'm not out there. So to kind of, you know, keep everyone happy and be there for all my sponsors that are behind me.
When you're not racing and you're at a race, is it easier to see certain things? Like when you're there competing yourself, you kind of have tunnel vision on stuff. And
yeah, for sure. I think it's a lot easier to see certain stuff when you're there focusing on that, instead of focusing on worrying about doing what you need to do, you know. I think you can see stuff that you don't normally really look at, and especially because you can watch the good practice that you're usually in, so you can see those little things that some people are doing better than others. So even being at the practice track with the guys lately, I've been able to notice more stuff that they do, because I'm not there focusing on what I need to work on and what I have scheduled for that day as far as my program. So it's been pretty cool. Like, I've been going out there and videotaping the guys and like kind of showing them, hey, like you need to kind of change this a little bit or do that. So it's been pretty neat for me to experience that, and it's been fun. Like, it's been something I enjoy, is helping out those dudes and seeing improvement. So it's been pretty neat.
At Phoenix, we were talking about the YZ450, and you said that the biggest change was the kit that moved the placement of the engine a bit. So it rotates the engine further forward, correct?
It rotates so the head is farther up. It doesn't like move the whole motor forward, it just changes the rotation of it.
So what did that do for the handling?
For me, it made the front end not feel so light. It made the front end stick better around the turns, and just made the turning better for me. I know we had to stiffen up the front end quite a bit after we made those changes. And it's funny, I noticed a lot of people have been coming out with it lately to sell it.
Yeah.
So I think like Lightspeed has it, and then Dubach Racing, and so it's obviously everyone knows it's something that works. So I would say that was the biggest. I mean, we made a lot of changes to the bike, but that was a pretty good improvement that I felt.
Isn't it crazy? Like, I think people don't realize at the highest level how much testing you guys actually do, and how much difference something small can make. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
You know, I remember Ricky telling me they would change the engine mount bolts and stuff to make his bike handle different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've done a lot of just like the weirdest stuff you wouldn't even think of, just bolt testing. Notice difference between, say, running tie bolts in spots or just stainless bolts in spots, and you notice a difference, which is it's just because the material's harder or softer, so it gives it more flex or less flex. So it's weird to think like a bolt in certain spots could make that big a difference. So it's been pretty cool. Like, that's something that I'm really interested in that side. I really enjoy testing and going through that stuff and learning what little stuff does to bikes, and I don't know, I've always been like that. Like, that stuff really interested me, like just doing the testing and figuring out what this will do or that will do, and it's really like it. I don't know why, but I've really enjoyed doing that stuff, and I get excited like when they're like, okay, we're gonna test today. I'm like, yeah, like that's what I like to do. Like, I really enjoy doing that stuff. So, so it's kind of a, like, I remember when I was younger, like when I was like, okay, when I'm done racing, I want to be a test rider, because back then, like, all factory teams had test riders that developed the race bike and stuff. I'm like, that would be cool to do for like a year or two when I'm done racing, like, because I really enjoy doing that stuff. But now with the economy, that's really not even around anymore. I think the only people that do that is Honda, and it's MC. So so I think that that dream's pretty much gone.
Well, Cali has Murph, like that. Cali has a guy in there. But I was just thinking right now, I met you when you tested for me at MX Racer. We tested, was it a 125 or was it an 80?
No, it was 125 up at Gorman.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah. You were doing the Yamaha Troy shoot there too. Yeah.
So, you've seen a lot of changes through your career, because I mean, you started off, you were MC's teammate. Was that the Bud Light Yamaha team?
In my first year in Supercross was 2002. And it was with McGrath Racing.
But you couldn't run Bud Light.
Yeah, I couldn't be out of the semi because of Bud Light, because I was underage. So I was out of a box van. It was more or less Larry that he helped me through my whole amateur career. Like, I was chaparral, amateur team, and there was a few of us on that team when growing up. It was like me, Shimp, and with Shimp on it.
I haven't heard that name.
And then Marley and Bonds, and there was like a few of us on 80s, and I just developed a really good relationship with Larry, and still have a good relationship with him. And he helped me through my whole amateur career and brought me in because no one wanted to offer me a ride my first year, and so we kind of developed our own kind of deal and put it together, and it was a good program, and I felt really good coming into the season. And unfortunately, it was ended 2 turns into the heat race, so it was kind of a bummer. But
I think you were really fast in practice at Anaheim, weren't you?
Yeah, that year I was really prepared, and that was when they still had day qualifiers. Yeah, there was no time practice, and it was day qualifiers, and I got second in the day qualifier behind James. And it's the whole racing aspect as far as Supercross has changed a lot from when I first came into the way it is now. And I think that's why I kind of have always struggled a little bit with time qualifying. I've never been the best. I'm always like, everyone, I remember Mitch used to always kind of haggle me a little bit, because he'd be like, dude, you're qualifying like 12th or like 18th, and I'm like, well, I don't, like, I'm just out there, like, when I go out there, like, I'm not too worried about throwing down the gnarliest fastest time. I'm just more worried about getting loose and getting in my groove and kind of doing what I know I need to go through to be ready for the race that night. And then I'd be able to go out there and throw it down, like be up front in the heat race, win heat races, and then be on the podium. And I think after about 2 rounds, Mitch finally was like, all right, like just, and that's the way every team's been with me. They're like, we know that you just go out and practice and do what you need to do. And then I've been kind of, I guess, a better racer than practicer, so that's a good habit.
Yeah, that's kind of hectic, man. It always blows me away when you guys go out and jump stuff so quickly. I mean, to learn to track that fast. I mean, I know like a triple's always, you know, 75 feet or whatever, but still, to learn all the different combos and remember stuff.
Yeah, it's something that you got to practice, I guess you would say. Like whenever I go to a practice track, a new practice track, I always go out there and try jumping everything as quick as I can and treat it like a race instead of like going out there and rolling around and then kind of, so like you got to kind of learn that habit. And then it makes it especially hard when you go to races that are delayed schedule and you only get one 15-minute practice, and you got to go out there, jump everything, like you got to jump everything within the first 2 or 3 laps, because then you seriously only got like 4 laps after that to get your time down. So that can make it a little stressful, but I think that kind of separates riders a little bit more as far as from skills. So I don't know, I mean, like I said, it's changed a lot from when I first came into it. Yeah.
Is racing and riding still as fun for you as it was when you first started?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I have a blast every time I'm on my motorcycle. I mean, obviously there's days where you have an off day and you're just like, oh, like you want to do something, like you come into a turn and you just want to be able to hit this one rut and you just can't do it, and it gets frustrating. And I think everybody has those off days, you know. Yeah. But I enjoy it, and it's I love every part of it, from the practicing, the racing, the training, to learning, to just the fans and everything. It's just so much fun to me, and something that I'm very happy to be involved in.
So this year, or maybe it was last year, you had to quit running the 116. What was your attachment to 116?
116 actually meant a lot to me because my amateur number from when I first started riding was 16. And so I always wanted to kind of have 16 in my number, and in my first year I wanted 116. I couldn't get it. I had to be number 160. So I ran 160 for a couple years, and then 116 opened up. So I got that number. And then the first year I ran it was when I was on Yamaha in Troy of 07, and that was like by far the best year I've ever had. So I was like, all right, I'm keeping this number. Like, this is my number. And it was just kind of, I guess what I was kind of known for was that, like, you know, like everyone gets known for their number, and that's kind of what everyone saw me as 116. And I think it's kind of a bummer that I couldn't keep it. But yeah, like the attachment for me was just the number 16, because that was the number I chose from when I started riding, because the guy that taught me how to ride was actually a flat tracker that was number 16. So that's how I got number 16. So
was it Ronnie Jones?
Nah, his name was Steve Beatty.
Oh, Steve Beatty, the Canadian.
So he was actually the one that kind of, I guess, when we used to live in Northern California, my first motorcycle was a quad, and my first race was like a circle flat track. So that's kind of how we got, that was the first time I got signed up, and I guess my dad said like I was more interested in going the middle and doing donuts than doing laps. So, but that's how I kind of got into it, and that's how I chose that number, was from him. So
nice. So whether you come back, you know, for outdoors or partway through outdoors or whatnot, do you have a ride with the team next year?
No, my deal was a 1-year deal, so that's I would love to be able to come back and hopefully do some nationals, but like I said, that is something that is so far in the future that I don't know yet. I mean, there's a few other things that still need to be done, and some pieces of the puzzle that need to be put together before we decide on that. And then, like I said, as far as me racing next year again, there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that need to put together as far as me getting a ride and stuff like that. I mean, it's so many things that need to fall into place before a lot of those decisions are even made, but it is definitely something that I would like to do.
Yeah.
So
hey, going back a little bit, that had to be pretty cool to see all the support from your fellow riders. Like Nick had his butt patch and
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was really cool. For me, unfortunately, it's kind of, that whole time was blurry for me, but Hannah went back and showed me all that stuff kind of when I've cleared up, and it was really, she said it really lifted my spirits when everyone did that. Like, I know all the Thor guys had like a patch for me and Trey on their jersey, and then Nick had the butt patch for me and Trey, and then Shorty ran the butt patch for me, and then just all that stuff's really cool to show the support that everyone has for us. And I think a lot of people, like a lot of fans or people from the outside looking in, don't really realize how much of kind of a family the sport can be. And there's definitely people out there that don't like each other, but there's a majority of us out there that get along great and are good friends, and that was really cool to see that part. And I think it kind of showed people that even though we're competitors, that we care for each other. So that was really cool to see that. And then just everything with that everyone did for me with the road to recovery stuff to help me with that situation has been amazing, and just everything is just, I'm so thankful for everything that everyone's done, and it's definitely helped me and my family through this situation.
So the trend right now is taking neck braces off, and that you've never worn one, but you were saying something about.
Well, it's not that I've never worn them. I've tried wearing them, and I've had a hard time with them because I'm more of I roll my shoulders a lot when I ride. I was actually working on wearing one this year. The guys at Liette had gave me a couple, and I had them at the test track, and I rode with them a little bit and was trying to get used to them. I just had a really hard time with it, and it was close to the season, and I was just like, all right, it's just I need to focus on being ready, not, you know, so kind of pushed that aside. And I think, well, I don't think, I know when I come back I'll definitely have a brace on. I feel that with Trey's situation, I think that is really what saved him, is having that brace on after seeing how his head bent forward and how the brace broke, and because that's what it's meant to do is break, I know that. So definitely when I start riding again, I'm definitely going to be wearing a brace and trying my best to get used to it and doing whatever I need to do to get it comfortable for me. And I think my wife feels the same way. I don't think she's going to let me get back out there without one after all this, and I think it's a smart decision. But it is kind of funny when, you know, one person kind of bags on something, or something negative happens from it, and they say, oh, they're horrible, but we don't know what could happen if it wasn't on. It could have been worse, or you know. So in my situation, I feel like it really saved Trey, and so I feel like that's something that I want to start riding with and get used to it. The same with knee braces and stuff like that. So
I mean, it could have even, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it might have been able to help you when you hit you might have hit your neck brace on the crossbar.
Yeah, who knows? Like, it's hard to say. You know, you can't really say, well, if they had it on, they wouldn't have got hurt, or if they wouldn't have had it on, that wouldn't have happened. You can't say that because no one knows. Like, you can't predict that stuff. So I will definitely be doing my best to get one situated on me when I'm back on the bike. That is for sure.